my mic.
We're not wearing headphones. I did have headphones. I'm gonna start. I think that they led into a portal. Like, I kept getting feedback from somewhere else, and I think it had to do with the headphones. I don't understand how.
When you say a portal,
you
mean like a portal to another world?
That's what it felt like.
Wow.
That's what it felt like.
At first, I was like, it sounds like she's saying a portal to another world, but she just means like a portal, like that you put in.
Like a port.
Yeah.
No, I could see how you would maybe think that, but
the portal into another world.
No, yeah, like I was hearing voices, and it wasn't just me. I have it on tape. People heard it. It was Ghost in the Machine. They were talking about. And what was interesting is they were talking. I need to not bring this up every episode, but it does every time I'm like confronted with the machine. I am confronted also with the memories of the ghost in the machine. Okay. And they were talking about like Kamala Harris and Korea.
I have no idea what
exactly. So what? All one can think, I think, is that maybe it was actually perhaps a portal into another dimension in which she won and she's dealing with something Korean. Right. She's dealing with something Korean.
So you heard voices speaking about Kamala and...
Yes, like a podcast or something, like somebody else. But I'm now that I'm really breaking it down with you right here and right now, I'm thinking maybe it was an alternate dimension.
And not just radio waves.
How did the radio, listen, I've had this machine for a long time.
Yeah.
The radio waves never came through like a ghost in the machine until now.
What changed?
What hasn't changed? How's your last 5 years been? How's your last day, Ben? How's your last year? I'm going to put like, so listen, I've been doing this thing where I'm playing with fate, with if they're going to block me for playing music or not. So I'm going to do it. I've been doing a thing where I'm like, I get to be a DJ and I get to play whatever song I want to be my theme song intro. Right now, we're talking Amy Winehouse, the original Hidden Treasures version of Tears Dry. She goes... And she goes, he walks away, the sun goes down, and this blue shade, whatever, she goes, oh yeah, the whole sun goes down. He takes the day, but I'm grown. He takes the day, but I'm grown. Now let's think about that. There are reasons that resonates with me. Have you ever felt this way? Sometimes you take a day and you say, I'm grown.
Wow.
That's where I'm at today.
Yeah. I've definitely... Wait, okay. I mean, I definitely relate to the like feeling like, man, I'm grown.
Right.
I definitely relate to that feeling.
But do you relate to it in a way that connects with almost a grief?
Oh.
He walks away. The whole sun goes down. That's what he does. She does an amazing riff in this version. She goes, oh, the whole sun goes down. And he takes the day and I'm grown. Oh! I don't know why I'm like burdening you with this.
I'm like desperately trying to find a way to relate.
No, it's cool. You're married. That's the thing. Oh, guys. Because you are grown. And maybe you didn't have to do that through grief. And I can't wait. I just had a moment where I was like, am I recording? And then I was, because I was like, this is gold.
Yes.
We are recording. I would let and hopefully we're going to learn about all the ways in which you're grown and maybe not through grief. But I guess I'll introduce you first. I have this board. I do have canonically very bad handwriting, but I did have this chalkboard. That was like the 7th attempt.
Okay.
I do have this chalkboard. If you're watching the visual podcast, you'll notice, wow, she upgraded. I used to have me and someone in the last like 3 episodes just kind of on this tiny couch.
Okay.
Forced intimacy, but not one that I like necessarily want to put on everybody.
Sure,
you know? Sure. So I got some you're saying, are these furnishings ugly? Maybe a little bit.
I wasn't thinking that at all.
Is this a palm tree chair? And have I talked about palm trees and have I invoked them in my life in the podcast a lot? Yes.
To me, the thing that's setting this is
this crazy thing.
Yeah. Because the lighting is
bad.
Well, yes.
Yes,
we know
of course.
Yes.
That obviously.
That's obvious. I mean, you have a ring light set up here.
It doesn't work.
But it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
So it's like ring light not on. Great.
It did once work. And this is the thing that, and I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
Because I have been wanting to address it on the podcast. Like, if you guys think I don't know it looks bad, I know it looks bad. I know it looks bad, and I'm sort of like a girl who I do this often. Like, I start before I'm ready. I'm like, I need to do it now.
Yeah.
I need, and honestly, actually, the truth is, so many horrific life events were occurring, and I was just seeing people blah, 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 in their very beautiful lighting, I'll say, and they look good talking bullshit.
Okay.
So I said, maybe I'll at least talk about abolish the police, but it looks bad. It's fine if it looks bad right now. It's because I don't have money.
Right.
Probably because I'm talking about abolish the police a little bit too much.
Right.
For now.
And it adds to the authenticity of your message that the lighting is not good.
And I want you guys to see the process of when obviously inevitably becomes huge hit podcast.
Yeah.
And, by the way, I've been doing this podcast since like 2017. Like we've been, but you guys didn't make it visual on me then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a new thing.
It's a new thing, but it's seeming, I guess, necessary. And I'm not going to complain about it every episode, but I am going to say that I know how it is. Okay. And I used to say people don't want to see the process. People don't want to see and now I'm saying invite them in.
Where's the journey?
I claim vulnerability, and here I am doing it. The thing with this is, Jonathan, I need.
Talking about the desk exactly, or you're talking about this lamp?
Here's the thing.
It's one and the same.
It's one and the same.
It's one and the same.
Here's the thing, Jonathan, and I will introduce you for real. This I needed a table, and I needed a lamp. This one found me on Facebook Marketplace. It said, like, what about one?
What about one?
And here's the thing, you could go like this. I don't know what's the best way.
Now
you get all the
light.
But here's the thing. I know you're actually better lit because I'm backlit from my beautiful, gorgeous, the sun over there.
Yes.
So everyone's lit bad, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
This guy who's come on here to trash me, I guess. I once pretty much held hostage in conversation outside of the UCB Franklin with our friend Erica Hernandez, and that's how I really forced you to meet me. I think I was talking about something crazy, wasn't I?
Well, we were talking about dating apps.
Yes, we were talking about dating apps, and Erica was talking about some crazy stuff.
I really meant it was you.
It was me and Erica, and then kind of me. I probably overtook
Chris Taylor Cruz is there as well.
Yeah. Anyways, but beyond me accosting him on the sidewalk, you know him. You know him from me accosting him on the sidewalk. You know him from... Now you know him from season dang floor of the dang floor.
Of the dang floor.
Okay.
The game show.
Do you even understand the level of stardom that you have on that show? No one's been a star like you've been a star of the show.
I don't think that's true.
I do think it's true.
I'll take it. I mean, Brian was a huge star of that show on season 3 because he won a ridiculous amount of money without winning the whole thing.
But you're kind of like on your way to that. Yeah. Like people fear you and respect you.
Yes.
In a way that's great.
I definitely think
you
I've made
are an
impact.
Improviser. Yes. You are an actor, a writer, a comedian. You're a comedian, actually.
I'm a comedian.
So you own the freaking floor.
It's pretty crazy.
And you're chopping it up with Rob. And did Rob ever even let somebody else activate the randomizer?
What a great question. I don't remember. I've definitely watched all of the floor. I'm not that big of a floorhead to remember that.
We would have remembered if such a historic moment had occurred before.
It was really cool.
You guys are looking or listening, if you're a true podcast purist, to somebody who has activated the randomizer.
Category of podcasters.
Podcasters, exactly. And you're here and you do have a podcast. You're 1/3 of Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood podcast. Bravely have not made the transition to visual podcasting, have you? Or do you?
Occasionally? We haven't really. We've done clips
It's because you're already successful of the podcast.
Well,
People already
honestly,
listen.
Though, we should be doing it, and we realize like why our listenership like doesn't grow, and it's like, oh right, because like it's all a video, but we're very resistant to it.
No, I mean it sucks. Imagine having to pick out an outfit every time.
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, I don't even think about. It's more just like
logistically
like clipping and
no, it's horrible. It's horrible. Imagine me trying to clip myself. I have to decide what's good or funny. Right. That's what a problem.
Yeah,
like truly what a problem.
So much work.
And then also I think a lot of what's the best of me is I'm looking dumb, but then like I'll do it, like I'll put it out there, but it's just like I don't want to have to decide that for myself. I do wish someone else could decide it for me, you know?
Yeah. And then but paying somebody to do that is expensive.
Right. And we don't even have lights to make the thing look good yet.
I also am somebody who like doesn't watch video podcasts and like I don't get it. That being said, I remember before I started my own podcast, I was somebody for a long time who didn't listen to audio podcasts, and I was so confused as to who listens to these things. Like,
but then you were like, but long. I think I should get in the game.
Basically, no. Well, I mean, basically what happened was I got a job in which I was like filing papers, and it was such monotonous, boring work in which my brain did not have to be used.
Yeah.
And I was able to I was listening to music all the time. And then I legitimately got tired of listening to music. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is what podcasts are for.
Yes.
I got super into podcasts.
What are your fave pods? Are you still listening?
I mostly listen to sports podcasts now. It's kind of boring.
Who are your sports teams?
The New York Jets.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Knicks.
No, I'm actually a Nets fan. I grew up in Jersey, so I was a New Jersey Nets fan, and then they moved to Brooklyn, and my wife lived in Fort Greene, and then I moved in with her, and so we became. So I'm Brooklyn Nets fan.
Guys
as well.
Can still be Knicks fans, even if you live in Brooklyn.
I like the Knicks. Like I'm not one of those people who like hates the other team from the city.
I like all the boys.
Yeah.
Really.
Like I root for my team first and foremost.
Yeah.
But then I also like the other New York teams. So like, I like the Knicks. I like the Giants. I'm a Yankees fan. I like the Mets.
He has not accepted being in LA yet. No,
and I never will.
How long have you been here?
I've been here for 6 years.
Okay, so you came just before pandemic times. Ooh la la.
Yes.
And you loved that. Well, I mean, that's good. Because being out here for pandemic times, wow.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah. No.
So the transition was not bad. Especially, actually, if anything, it helped. It helped because the world shut down and I went, well, now I have to move out at an LA pace.
That's what I've heard from a lot of people that I know here who are doing pretty well here now.
Yeah.
Okay. You see how things go crazy in moments of chaos. Sometimes we can find the light.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Sometimes we can find the light.
And sometimes we can't.
Okay, so support the Patreon so I can get some lights. Okay, not everyone's so privileged to go to a studio.
Let's donate a ring light, please.
Guys, please donate me anything. No, I've been really broke for a long time. I'm not actually sick of it yet. I just am noticing its limitations.
A couple limitations.
I'm noticing some limitations, but I'm, city as she goes. I like when you arrived, I did tell you and make you look at the hawk that I saw. Yes. So every time I see a hawk, I say that's $1 that's coming soon.
Oh, okay.
What else does it mean, right?
What else does it mean? Other than $1 coming soon.
Dollar bills.
Y'all higher.
What?
It should have been like $100.
It should have been $100.
Yeah.
I'm not greedy.
Okay.
I'm not greedy.
Okay, but $1 in this economy?
No, it's true.
Come on now.
It's true. Okay, Jonathan, but you're big money balling because you've won 3 weeks. No, you're not. I'm not calling you rich. I understand how it goes. But you've won 3 weeks in a row. We're not going to talk about the floor. You literally do talk about the floor on a podcast that is the floor podcast.
Yes, the floor play.
You just put out an episode I didn't get to catch up on yet, but But there was a very big dramatic episode last episode.
It was big one.
Talk about love, talk about relationships, talk about interpersonal dynamics. I've had the thing lately where I've given myself a really good segue and then lost it. But now I'm trying to make a segue.
Okay.
And I'm not finding it. So I'm just going to call it out.
So that's fine.
Let's get into
the nitty gritty.
And we're going to talk about, by the way, my podcast is Classroom Crush, and we're going to talk about childhood crushes and the way you view love and relationships. If you've ever listened to the podcast, I know that you're bringing in all those floor heads. You're bringing in the Rob Lowe heads.
Yeah,
they're all listening. They're like, we need to know more about this guy who's captivated our screens. Yes. Okay, so you grew up, you said, in New Jersey. Is that what you just said?
I did. So I was born in New York.
Well, of course, on the floor, you're representing New Jersey. And how does that feel?
To represent New Jersey?
Yes.
It feels good. I'm proud of it. I mean, so I was born in New York, moved to Jersey when I was in the 4th grade.
Okay.
Lived there through high school graduation, and then went to NYU. And so lived in New York.
Yes, you did your New York
until I moved
life.
to LA. So yeah, but Jersey is cool. I mean, it was a white suburb.
Yeah. What kind of kid were you? What was your environment like growing up in Jersey?
I was like, I was very small. I did not.
You're small. He's tall, guys.
I'm tall now.
Okay.
I did not grow until like the end of high school, like beginning of college. So like,
oh my God,
I was like the short kid for most of my like all of middle school.
And is that annoying to you? Do people assume that you just had it easy because they thought you were just tall the whole time, and it's canonically easier for the talls?
I'm sure people assume that. Like I haven't talked about it too much. Like every now and then when I really get into it, people, I'm like, no, I was short growing up. So yeah, I like didn't have this life of like being the tall kid. But even now, I'm like, even though I'm tall, like I'm still thin. So like there is like an element of like, I wasn't like I've never walked around this world as like the big buff guy.
Sure.
Which I think has its own
different.
There's something there. The world perceives you in a different way.
You said I'm tall but slender, and so therefore my confidence must be
there's a mix.
What's the word? Not disproportionate, proportionate.
Yeah, proportionate. Yeah. But yeah, growing up, it was like, when I moved to Jersey, like had to make new friends, but that was.
Who are you? What's your vibe as a child?
My vibe is.
What are you into? What are your friends like?
I was into, I don't know, Pokemon. And, I was into I got into wrestling in middle school.
Okay.
Like I was like more classic. I was kind of like classic boy, but people were really into rock and like bands and stuff, and I wasn't really that into that. But I also I wasn't I was never super into music in general. Like I liked music, but like I never became one of those people who like
that was your life.
That was my life.
Yeah.
So I was mostly into like TV and movies,
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
And here he is, all these.
But yeah,
it was destined.
I was like into comedy.
Okay, so from the start.
I was definitely like and I wanted to be an actor since I was like in 5th grade. So like all that stuff tracks. I was like quiet around people I didn't know, so I was like I was perceived as shy to certain people, and then the people I did know, I talk all the time, and I was perceived as way too talkative.
And then people are like, "No, you don't even know. He's like so funny." Like that one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And in 7th grade, I was not 7th, 8th grade, I was voted most talkative. That was my superlative in 8th grade.
Oh my, this is interesting. How did that make you feel?
Well, I mean, I felt good about getting a superlative.
Okay, sure.
Because I don't think everybody got one. I wasn't a part of. I think there are schools in which they're like, we give everyone one, so nobody feels left out.
Yeah.
I was definitely in a school where they were totally fine with leaving people out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I felt good about getting one, and then I remember my family being like, "You got most talkative," you know? And then I remember also thinking like, even though I didn't get like class clown, which I wanted more,
sure,
I was like, okay, well, at least I'm known for something.
Okay, so you didn't take it in any like negative way. You took it as like I'm seen. And
and also because even though I got most talkative, I was still like a good student, and I didn't really get detention or anything like that. So it wasn't like I was getting in trouble a bunch. Yeah.
And your family didn't see you as that.
My family didn't see me as that.
Interesting. Well, no, yeah. I mean, superlatives brings up memories for me that I know I've talked about at some point on this podcast. And I thought, I don't think I actually brought it up with David Brown in my last episode, but it was what I was thinking about when he was telling me his story. We were talking about like, just like public humiliation and how like that shit hit different, you know? And like one of the only superlatives I've ever been voted for was when I was like 9 years old and I was in dance camp, and I was voted most annoying.
No.
Yes.
No. Why do they have that? Why do they have it?
Mean girls.
Why?
And mean women.
Most annoying?
Most annoying. So it's sort of like if you're ever like, what's her deal? Remember that.
Wow.
I was voted most annoying as a small child, and I've had to form, do not fuck with the levels, brother. I've had to form an entire identity after that.
Now,
so imagine.
Did that really
scar me for life? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm actually realizing more and more lately that like how much I think it did.
Yeah, like it really stuck with me.
Well, because it was like, did I talk about that? I can't, my podcast is, I'm just to myself where I'm like, did I have this conversation on this podcast or did I have this conversation with a person? But it was definitely a combination of like, get voted most annoying by girls that you already suspected did not like you, you know? But then like go to your dad's house on the weekend and it's like, your dad is so annoyed by you. Like my dad was just never good at he could not like pretend. So it was like the affirmation,
the confirmation bias of
totally. Like, and then like looking back, I'm like, I'm just a girl. I'm just a child. Like, what was I doing? That was so bad. But like, it's because I was just different than those girls. I just really was. I was just not like the other girls. It's not like the other girls in dance camp. Sorry, I'm listening to Blink 182. Okay, or whatever it was at the time. Yeah. So that's what your memory triggered for me. Yeah. But I'm glad that you had. See, I think, and now it's a thing that I don't know if I misremember it. I think it must be true because I don't know why else I would remember it, but it's sort of like so overshadowed by the most annoying thing where I think I'm pretty sure I also got most dramatic, which is kind of a pairing, I guess, you know,
I got most dramatic in high school. But that was seen because like even when we took the pictures, it was like the theater mask.
Yeah, okay.
So it's even though it said most dramatic, it was like recognized as like
you're talented in the theater.
Kind of
no, of course.
But I remember thinking, and so that's how I took it. But I remember thinking when it was like most dramatic, I was like, this feels like. I don't like the word because it feels like
dramatic.
Dramatic. Like you're so dramatic.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. When it's paired with most annoying, you're like, that's most definitely how to take it. So I just had to make a podcast all these many years later. But you were chatty with your friends. What kind of friends were like making you comfortable to like be yourself? Like what was your friend group like? And
I mean like middle school is when I really like formed like a core group of friends. Mm-hmm. And like, we like played a lot of different like games. We like invent games and stuff. Like we play a lot of sports together. And, I mean like I will say like when I got to high school, I started to feel like, I was a friend to all, but like, but
nobody knew you.
But nobody
really, only a few really knew you.
Like, and it wasn't like it's not even necessarily like knew me, but it was like
understood you, or
like there were a couple of friends. Okay, so really the closest friend I had, and he'll probably listen to this or watch this. The closest friend I had was my friend Kyle, and he was my friend since like 4th grade. But then in high school, there were like 2 years where he like got a girlfriend, and we like, even though we were still friends, we were like much less friends. Like kind of like felt like there were like 2 missing years of our friendship.
Where did that lie in the high school?
It was like, I think it was like 10th and 11th grade.
Interesting.
And then like senior year, we started to reconnect more, especially when we realized that like we both wanted to go into the arts.
Right.
And like, and we were both taking like, even though we were in the same class, we both were taking TV production. And so like, I think we like started to reconnect then.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where I felt like he, you know, we've talked about it a little bit, like not that much. So it's always it was interesting to know what his perspective of it was.
Yeah.
But like from my perspective, it was like, he was like, and still is like tall, good looking, like really good at sports.
Okay.
Like, so he was like star soccer player, and he did wrestling. He was like star wrestler, and like, you know, a lot of girls like it, like a lot of girls had crushes on him, whatever. And so like, I felt like he, like high school happened, and then it was like, oh, he's like
he's this
prototypical,
guy.
like popular, like guy.
Yeah.
And then I was just like literally the best friend character, you know, in movies and stuff. And so like, I remember like people would go to, like when people started going to parties and stuff, like every now and then I would be invited to a party, but I remember like, oh, like my friends like aren't really inviting me to these parties. Ooh. And to be fair, like I wasn't drinking. I was like good Christian boy.
Okay.
You know? And so like, you know, not that I was like a tattletale or anything like that, but it was just like, they were like, I don't know, John's not into this.
Yeah, he's not into the whole drinking thing.
He's not into this. He's not.
It's funny when that happens in high school. Like, who's gonna smoke? Who's gonna drink? Yeah, that sort of now starts to determine who you can be hanging out with.
I probably got more into like the theater kids vibe, but then I never fully felt like a theater kid, even though that's exactly who I was. But I like never felt like fully embraced by that group. And then there were like, you know, I just found myself hanging out with different people at different times.
Yeah. No, I relate to that. I had a very, very, very similar journey with someone that I've actually reconnected with now, because she like literally lives like down my block. Wow. And she was also my best friend from like 4th grade to high school. We also got kind of distant. The dynamic of, because it's like, there wasn't like a real like definitive like popularity in my high school because it was so small, and it was really just like groups of like weird kind of kids. But the dynamic of I'm the silly curly haired best friend, like was so like it was just there in a very obvious way that I think like I was just not secure enough in myself to battle those dynamics at that age. I don't think anyone is, but I do think it fucks you up for a bit. Yeah. When you see yourself as like the side character.
Yeah. Or whatever. And, I mean,
or at least you know, because I'm like, I'm the star of my life, absolutely. But when someone's casting this, when they're seeing that, you know, totally. Like I know who I play. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in relationships and movies and stuff. And like, and then I felt that like all the time because I was like, you know, one of the only like black kids.
I was going to say, was he white?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so, Kyle.
And so like, you know, like, and that shows up when you're like, you're just like in innocent, super innocent ways when you're like doing like playing games or pretend or whatever. And you're like, oh, you're the black you're the black person in this group, you know?
Yes.
So you play the black guy. Like you're the black Power Ranger. You're the whatever. And like, and so then that's how you relate too. When you see movies and stuff, you're like, I'm that person. Like,
well, and it's interesting, especially when you're a kid that's paying extra attention to that. Yeah. And that's where, like, I've said it on this podcast before, I will say it again, that I really think it was like a psyop to like try to make representation matters like a joke, like not real progress. And it's like, oh wow, we really it does. Like that was so dumb.
It matters.
It's so crazy how the tone around that type of progress changed just as we look around and like literally everything's white again. Like so interesting how the science of that is working. But that's why like I remember, did you ever watch Pen 15?
Somewhat, yeah.
There's a great episode about like the two girls and like the other girls playing like Spice Girls,
right?
And how like they make Maya Scary Spice, even though she's obviously not black, but she's just like the different one, whatever. It's like, yes, that obviously happened to me before many times. If you're just, but those are the ones. And it's so funny how simple it is, but it's just right there. And we all like, I don't know. I think we've all had, if we dig back in our memory, many times where we've been a part of that dynamic one way or another, Absolutely. So representation matters, blah, blah, blah. Representation matters. Okay, so Kyle had a girlfriend. Let's talk about your crushes. Were you trying to be crush mode? Did you want a girlfriend? What was your vibe growing up in relation to love?
Yeah, so, I mean...
Are your parents together or divorced?
Oh, yeah, my parents are still together.
Okay, so it's a very important context.
Yeah, grew up, like... deeply Christian, so like very much a like no sex before marriage.
Hell.
My church was I've described this before in other places, but like the easiest example to show is like we would do there was like drama, like skits. And those were skits. And
I would love to see.
They would do like, these things for like a youth night, like the teen night.
Yes.
And there was one.
Were you a leader in these groups? Were you performing?
Eventually.
Yeah.
And I remember one that was like, they did like this series that was like one of the pastors like played this character who like owned a pizza shop, and then the kids would like come in, like get pizza, and then they would like talk about things that were going on, and he would give them advice.
Okay.
And so one was like about dating.
Very after school special, like.
Very after school special. Okay. And one was about dating, and these like two Christians who are dating are like, hey, like, is it a sin to like kiss before you're married? And like the pastor was like, well, the Bible doesn't say really anything about that, blah, 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 blah. But like, you know what? Like, why not wait to your wedding night? Like, why not? And and to back that up, I remember there was this couple who got married.
Wait till your wedding.
Who got married in our church. And I remember giving their testimony. They said like their first kiss was on their wedding day. Like their first kiss was when they say, "You may kiss the bride." And I remember. And so, like, this was the stuff that I was taking in, whether I believed it or not. Like, and some of it I believed, and some of it I didn't. But I was still like, this was the atmosphere I'm taking in.
Yeah.
So when it came to like crushes and stuff in high school, I was like, super innocent. Like, I was like, I had them.
When you're seeing these, like, when you're hearing that, like, this is our first kid. How are you taking that? Is there part of you that's like, that's a little crazy, or are you just like, yep, sounds good? Like, how do you think you were?
I remember like the first kiss in the wedding night, I was kind of like, whoa, that feels intense.
Yeah.
But then I was kind of like, I get it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what else?
Not necessarily that like that's what I have to do. But it was just like doubling down on like the thing I know I 100% can't do is have sex.
Yes.
Like,
right.
Cannot do that.
Right.
And so. Yeah, and it made me like nervous and scared. It's like at the extra like teens are already nervous to engage in any sort of sexual activity, even just kissing.
Yeah,
it's like it added to that, especially somebody like me who like I never thought of myself as like somebody who like women were attracted to. So I wasn't like I wasn't growing up with the mindset of like, oh, there's all these girls who have crushes on me. Like, there were very few there that I knew of, at least. Like, and and like the one or two that I knew of were like girls that I wasn't really that attracted to.
Okay.
And so it just felt like, yeah, like these girls who not a lot of people think are pretty are the people who like me.
That like you. And that's affirming. Like, I mean, how do you, so are you just not thinking of it like how you present, or are you like actively like no one like only the ugly girls like me, I'm ugly, or like what's the?
Well, no, I mean, basically it was just like I was definitely thinking about girls, like
sure.
So in like, but like I don't even know how to describe it outside of like, okay, like in 8th grade, like I remember like, you know, that's when we started having school dances.
Okay.
And I remember I was keeping a count of like how many girls I slow danced with. And like that was
there be a number that would be too much, too many?
No. I meant like I was like proud of like,
oh, like you're good.
Like to me, like that was like the peak of my,
of course. And how many?
Prowess. And I don't remember, but I just remember being like, I remember like working up the courage to go up to a girl and be like, do you want to dance with me? And then we do the very stereotypical like hands on the hips, hands on the shoulders, nowhere near each other. But like in my mind, I was like
electric.
Whoa! So for me in 8th grade, like that was what other kids by that time were probably already like feeling each other up.
Yeah.
You know, like that the norm is second base, and other people obviously are going past that. But I just meant like,
but the slow
to me,
dance
like what people were feeling there was what I was like just doing a slow dance.
No, 100%. I mean, I'll never forget that probably one of the most electric feelings I think I'll probably ever feel in my life was the one time that like my 8th grade crush like held my hand under the table, like, and mind you, other things are happening, but just that, and then and you're like, I've never been more alive, you know, just a simple point of contact. Yes. So do you have like a central formative crush that you remember?
100%.
Okay, let's get who is she? We can give her a fake name, and where and when is it, and where are we?
Yeah, we'll give her a fake name. We'll give her a fake name, even though she knows who she is.
Sure.
But just for whatever, she has a family now.
Yeah.
What
husband
name?
turns around and says, "What the hell
should I give her?
What's her essence?
What's her essence?
Give me 3. Yeah, well, I do want to know her essence actually. Like, who is she? So when do you know her? Meet her?
I was just like, when you said essence, I was like, Mary was who I thought.
Virginal.
Virginal, perhaps. I don't know.
Sweet.
In my mind,
yeah. So when was this crush?
So I would say, you know, I knew her for a long time, but the crush got like intense my senior year of high school.
Okay.
Like I probably
knew her throughout high school.
I knew her throughout. She was just 1 year younger than me.
Okay.
And I think I had a crush like before then, and I had crushes. I had other crushes before this too, but like some of them, like in freshman year, I had a crush on a girl.
Yeah.
Who, like
everyone had a crush on.
Boys had crushes on.
Yeah,
you
she had big old titties.
No, she was actually just
a really nice girl.
Pretty. Like her face was really pretty, and like I remember, I don't know how, it was probably like a year ago or whatever, but like I saw her on social media. And I was like, oh my God, she's still so
really pretty.
I was like, wow, like it's one of those people who are like, you know, like who knows, like the girl you thought was hot in high school,
she could be
or the
guy,
they were probably like, they weren't even that hot.
Yeah,
this was a person who was like, no, they were. They were like too pretty.
It's honestly sometimes that's validating. You know, you don't want to go back and be like, all of that for this.
Yeah, that's what I liked. Oh God, no. Yeah,
I have a few of those.
This person is like very like stunning.
Like, valid.
You know,
so that was like a rite of passage to have a crush on her.
Had a crush on her,
right?
You know,
okay.
And she was also like very kind and sweet. And like, you know,
pretty people often can be because their life a lot of bit easier.
And also people like them, and then they learn how to like whatever. And so she was one of those people who like flirted with you without trying to.
Right.
And so I never thought she was really
coming
liked me,
for
but
you.
like I definitely had like a crush. Anyway.
Okay. So you're not at this point repressing the crushes. You're not like, I'm not allowed to have a crush.
No. I definitely had crushes, but then like, so this person, Mary, senior year, it was like, I was like, okay, like I don't know, maybe it was a part of being like, I'm grown now, you know.
Listen.
But like, I felt like also this was a person who was also very Christian. And so like, it just felt like this is the person for me.
Kismet.
Like this is the person. We were in Bible
how did you know her? Was she in
she was
a friend
in the theater
group?
She was in the theater group. She was in the theater group.
Did you ever do plays together?
We did plays together. We were never
romantic interest?
We were never romantic interest in the plays.
Were you always like, oh, please?
I don't really remember thinking that.
Okay.
But I'm sure if that had happened, I would have been like
crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, I like started crushing on her really hard senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I had a crush on her before then, but like that's, you know, and it worked up to, and then I remember at some point, a really good friend of mine, and I will say his name.
Say it loud and proud.
Rami Youssef.
Rami Youssef is your friend from New Jersey.
As in Rami. Yes.
Because he's from Jersey as well.
He's from Jersey as well.
No shit.
And he's younger than me. So Rami was a freshman.
Called out.
Rami was a freshman when I was a senior.
Okay.
And then at a certain point, I realized that he also had a crush on this person. And then, which weirdly made us bond even. We were already bonding, and then that made us bond even more.
Yeah. That's the ideal, you know. Let's not be in competition. Let's be brothers about it.
Yeah,
you know.
We both like her. And I kind of didn't take him too seriously because I was like, he's a freshman.
This fucking kid, yeah.
You know, and like in my mind, I was like, a senior girl with a freshman guy, like that literally will never happen. Inconceivable.
And I'm tall now. I'm grown.
And I'm getting taller.
Yeah.
And also, like I remember we would watch Lost together. Anyway.
Oh, nice.
There was a lot of things. And then I was trying to work up the courage to ask her to prom. And she wound up asking me to her junior prom before I asked her to prom. So she was like, would you? She was like, would you? And she did this at like a play rehearsal that we had. And she was like, would you want to go with me to junior prom? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. I was actually going to ask you if you want to go to prom with me. And she was like, yeah, sure. So I was like, oh my God. Like
everything's happening.
Dates like I'm going to go to junior prom with her as her date. And she's going to come to my prom as my date.
Did you feel that there was romantic tension building before these promposals? What was happening? Do you remember like any where you're?
I mean, of course,
like understanding. Like, were you seeing like I think she could be like is into me?
I thought like maybe she could be into me, but like I was so. I mean, like even though I was a senior, literally no love experience whatsoever. I was like, at the end of the story, there still is. Okay. But like, there was no love experience whatsoever.
Yes.
Never asked the girl out on a date.
Yeah.
Let alone like have a girlfriend or kiss somebody.
Right. Did it feel safer because she was Christian also, like to approach in the sense of like maybe we'll have a similar perspective about this?
Yeah,
or
I mean, yes. I mean, like in my mind, I was like, there was also a thing of like, I have to marry somebody who is Christian. Right. So.
And are you in your mind, like, are you in your mind being like, well, I got to get married to have sex and I got to have, like, how much is sex on your mind at this point?
I actually don't know if sex was really on my mind like that. Like, because I was operating under the belief that I, would not have sex until marriage.
Right.
So
the horniness isn't like taking over.
I mean,
your
there
life.
is horniness, but like, I mean, there was porn,
sure,
which is another thing for not this podcast, but that was like my burden. That was my, shame, my great shame.
Yeah.
Was like me secretly watching porn.
Totally.
But so there was horniness, but I wasn't like, I have to have sex. Like,
you weren't conceiving of it for yourself anytime soon.
I was barely thinking about like making out.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That was a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
And like everything was very romantic in my head. Mm-hmm. In my head, everything was romantic.
Well, he's a writer. Are you fantasizing? Are you daydreaming?
I was fantasizing of like the things that I would say, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so, but I was so scared and like didn't like couldn't make any move whatsoever.
Yeah.
Outside of asking her to prom after she asked me.
I know that's prom. Like so baller of her, and I'm proud of her.
Absolutely,
we love her.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And like slow dance, and also this is something.
Say it.
Like, this is something that I thought of. I think I probably even thought of at the time. Was like, I remember we did slow dance, and I obviously got a boner.
I was gonna say,
and then I remember being like terrified of like, does she know that I have a boner?
Right.
And of course, she never said anything. But then the adult me is like, of course she knew you had a boner.
Well, how close? Like, do you think? How close is she?
I mean, I think we were slow dancing like close.
How much space for Jesus was there?
There wasn't a lot of space for Jesus.
You guys squeezed Jesus out of there. She knew.
It wasn't like we weren't grinding.
Listen,
that's for sure.
Baby, when we're grinding, I get so excited.
Yeah, but we weren't grinding, but we were doing a slow dance where you're like, you know, like I have my arms draped over your neck and like we're close.
You're
like,
embracing.
We can feel each other.
No, yeah. You're making it hard for me. She felt that. What do they say? One of my favorite lines of that song. Feel a little poke coming
that song
through.
Is crazy.
That's one of my favorite songs of all time. Nice. What a good song. So she felt a little poke coming through. Absolutely.
She had to.
She must have.
Right?
I think so.
Like, okay, I guess my question to you is, were you ever dancing with guys where you felt their boner, but you didn't say, but nothing was expressed? You never talked about it. You know what I mean?
Not in that context. I haven't been invited to slow dance enough times in my life. It's a little fucked up.
Okay.
Even at my own prom, I didn't slow dance. I took my aunt, who's a year older than me, but she's like my best friend.
Wow.
And she's gorgeous, stunning model.
Sure.
You know, I took her. Then she was on her period, and then we kind of like left early. It was like, we have cramps.
Right.
That's my prom story. I do think that once a guy was kind of grinding on my ass at Ultra Music Festival. Pretty sure it was to like M83 or something.
Okay.
Was kind of like non-consensual. Definitely non-consensual. And that I probably felt a little poke coming through. But that was kind of like a it wasn't a discussion.
Well,
but
to me,
she probably
is
the discussion.
That's the acknowledgement of like, I feel what's happening.
I feel what's happening. But she didn't push you away.
She didn't push me
you
away.
were her love.
Yeah, and
it was an honor.
So maybe she did. Maybe she did. She didn't. I don't know.
Was that at that was at hers or yours? Did this happen the proms? Because you went to both proms.
Yeah,
with her.
I feel like that was at hers.
Okay.
That I remember having this like panic.
So when you're going to these proms, are you like what's your anticipate? Like, what are your feelings about it? Are you like, do you have any plans at all? Like, I'm gonna try this, or are you just like, I'm gonna revel in this night with my?
I was like excited, but I can't. It's hard to like really remember. But I don't know if I don't think I like necessarily thought like, oh, we're gonna kiss or anything like that. It was just kind of like, we're gonna have this great night together, and I enjoyed I enjoyed her prom. I enjoyed my prom. Our prom, we went afterwards. There was a bunch of us. We like had rented a limo to go to the prom, which is so silly because the actual drive to it was very short. But then because we rented this limo after prom, we went into the city with into New York City with a limo, and we went to Caroline's Comedy Club. That used to be in Times Square.
Yeah.
And so we saw a show there, and I actually hated that show. It was just like it was a prom show. Like they like did this specifically for
the children,
the suburbanians.
That's
coming
cute.
In. And like, but it was very raunchy because it was like all these comedians who were just like, we're going to shock you into laughing and talk about sex and blah, 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 blah.
Was that uncomfortable for you?
Very uncomfortable for me. And I think they were like, I'm sure they like called us out. Like they were calling everybody out, but like, you guys going to fuck, blah, blah, blah. And so I remember being really uncomfortable with that. And then also being embarrassed because I didn't know how comfortable she was with it. And I assumed that she wasn't comfortable with it.
Of course, yeah.
Without actually talking to her about it. And so that kind of soured the night a little bit. And then we just went home and nothing happened. And then specifically the end of this story is I remember there was a group of us, like friends. We went to somebody's house and we watched
after prom night, or just like
different
like
night, different night,
night.
but
Post
close by, because graduation's coming up or whatever.
Yes.
Very soon after, we watched Love Actually.
What a film.
While we were watching it, all the girls were
there's all the sex stuff in Love Actually.
Well, not just no. The sex stuff was fine.
Sure.
It was more the relationship. It was more the like all the girls being like, why doesn't he know that she loved it? Like with like the Colin, Firth story of like, why doesn't she how does he not know that she blah blah blah, and like whatever. But and I remember being like, well, sometimes like you can really like somebody and they don't know, and they were like, girls would know, a girl would know, and I was like, and then I remember my mind thinking like, does that mean she knows? And I was like, okay, like we'll for whatever reason my mindset was like, we'll find out then. And anyway, the movie,
we'll find out if she knows that if I like her that
100%. And
Love
the movie
it.
That was like whatever the final push I needed, even though obviously it was also like we're about to graduate and it's like I gotta do it.
Dramatic.
So she worked at the library. I like went to the library to basically I went to the library to ask her out, and I saw her, and I like was so nervous and talked to her a bit, and then walked away, and then came back, and then finally went up to her like as she's like putting books away, and was like, hey, I just want to tell you like I really like you, and want to know if you want to go out sometime. And then she didn't say anything, and she kind of like froze. And then I said, you don't have to say anything. Like, you can like,
sure,
let me know later.
Very nice.
And then she said, thank you. And then I said,
thank you. That's it.
And then I said, cool. And then I left and I walked home and I cried.
Thank you. Wow.
And so that was kind of the end of that. And like, I remember like seeing her in school the next day, but we like didn't say anything, and my stomach dropped, and I felt like embarrassed, and I was like, oh, I did something wrong. Like I cornered her at her workplace, and she felt uncomfortable. She doesn't know what to say, and obviously she doesn't like me.
Right.
And so then like we kind of like didn't really talk for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then like when we like wound up like talking again, we like in my recollection we like never talked about it again. It just was kind of like,
wow, that's so interesting. I mean, because it's so funny to me to like ask out after already doing 2 proms together, slow dancing. Because I'm like, that's out. To me, if you're asking out, that's out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like you almost did that part.
Yeah.
She already felt your boner. But maybe it was like well, what do you think of it now? Like, or what did you think of it then? Like, because there was no part of you that had hope. Like that thank you was a no to you.
That thank you was
not a thinking about it. I'm sure. Like,
no.
Okay, yeah.
And
I mean, and ultimately it was a no. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It clearly was a no.
But
and it was also, I don't really know. Like it was like also like later on I found out like, because this was, the end of my senior year, and then she had one more year of high school.
Right.
And I remember during like, I remember going to visit my friend, our mutual friend, who went to Barnard, who was in my grade, who I knew longer, and in like October, I think, and her being like, oh, did you hear that Mary is dating this guy? And I was like, what? And so the guy she started dating was a guy who was like, who couldn't be more the opposite of me.
Interesting.
Like in my mind, at least.
Sure.
Like he was also kind of in the theater world, but like he wasn't like a theater kid. Like he like honestly, the easiest way to describe him was like I never heard of Louis C.K. until him. He introduced me to Louis C.K. because he loved the show, the Louis, not the FX Louis show. Not the FX show, like the show he had before that. You might not even remember.
Right.
Like he had a show on HBO that was like My Life like Life with Louie or whatever the hell it was called. And I remember being like, this guy's weird, but he's just like, he was like very loud and boisterous and like talked about sex all the time. And like,
that's so funny. Cause I was going to say the instant thing I think is twofold. She probably did like you. She probably was scared about sex being, and like the buildup of, I'm like, yeah, that stuff in love. Cause I've watched a million times Love Actually. There's like that stuff in Love Actually, but you say the sex stuff isn't, I think the sex stuff in Love Actually, cause she was there, right? She was watching. Yes. I think 100% if you're a woman that has any fear or anxiety around sex and then you watch sex happening-ish in a room of other people and boys, it's putting it in the context where you might not have ever made any like horny type moves towards her, but and this is me fully guessing. In my mind, I'm fully guessing. I'm like, no, because I'm like, it makes sense to me, like the time period where maybe she would project that onto you of like, okay, well, we've done the 2 dances and now he wants to go out. What does that mean? Maybe is that too much or whatever. And then whatever shift happens with her sounds like a overcompensating, like an opposite version of that. Cause like, which feels like, I don't know, in relation to sex growing up, not knowing her, obviously. But I do think like there's something about your relationship to it that like sometimes you do go a flip flop. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where what's the answer? Is it this extreme or is it this extreme? Yeah. Right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did she change? Did you know her at all after this happened?
She didn't really, in my mind, she didn't really change that much. She like, and like the relationship with that guy was weird, and they were together for like a year, and then they broke up.
Because maybe she was trying to rebel with him. That's what my thought.
There is a possibility of that, though. Like she wasn't like that different of a person, but like the way that I have no idea what happened, and this is all speculation, obviously.
I want to know,
but like, and I kind of don't, and I at the time didn't want to know. This is why I don't actually know. But like, I was like, the way that he was talking, I was like, oh, they're clearly doing something. Like, even if they weren't having sex, it was like they're like, he kept talking about like remember the Dane Cook shocker? Like he would, Dane Cook like. He would be like, oh, like 2.
Oh, yes, right. The 2 in a stink, 1 in a pink.
Yeah,
right. Or the other way around.
I think he called it the shocker.
Yes. This is buried in my mind.
I learned that from this guy. Like that's who this guy was. You know what I mean? Like crazy. I didn't like he would always talk about stuff like that.
How did you internalize that?
Well, I kind of was just like, oh, I guess she's not who I thought she was.
Interesting. You're like, guess she's a fucking slut. And I was like, no.
But I just
good
more
riddance.
like, I more kind of was just like,
dodge a slutty bullet. No.
I was more like, oh, like this guy is. It wasn't even just about the sex. It was just like the guy felt like crude. Like he was like he didn't feel gentlemanly or whatever. All the weird romanticism.
Very like
all the romantic ideas.
Nice guys never win.
For sure.
Vibes.
And by the way, there was one other crush story, which is my freshman year of college, and these things happened back to back. That like, if I was a person like the way that incel rabbit hole people go down, like
100%.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, like. Some of those, I had those similarities of at least my backstory of like feeling like, oh, I'm a nice guy and girls don't like nice guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And 100%. But that for me never manifested into it.
Anger, violence.
Women, or certainly not a violence. But it did manifest in a like, I think women are like, always see themselves as victims and don't ever see themselves as perpetrators. And I was like, but I know that they are. I know that they can be.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Not that they are, but that they can be. Like, because I had the thing of like, I weirdly, and like my college experience was one of, and my very early 20s experience was one of like, women always talk about guys who they just want to have is sex. I was a guy who was like, I'm not having sex, and girls were like, you're freaking weird.
Right. You know, it's well, because the other thought I had on the girl was maybe she was starting to get horny, freaky, and she is like, I can't date another Christian boy because then I'll never have sex.
And eventually I got to, even though I wasn't actually having sex, I got to the thing of like, oh, if I want to be physically intimate with somebody, I can't be doing that with somebody who's Christian. That doesn't feel right. So
you went.
So if she was operating under that mindset, I eventually operated under the same mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. It's so interesting.
I don't know if she was.
I used to call this before it had as much weight as it does now. I don't know. Early days of this podcast, I was like, this is a pro incel podcast, or I was like, this is a very like incel empathetic podcast, in the sense that I would always joke that I was very incel vibes, because my vibe was very much like, all these guys want to date my best friend.
Right.
When you've been rejected one way or another enough times, and then I think what was always really would fuck me up, and I wonder if this happened to you, would be people being like, but Rebecca, you're so great. Like you're so pretty, Rebecca. You're like so pretty and you're so funny and you're like, you're so great. And I'd be like, thanks guys. That's awesome. you know, like, can you tell any of your eligible bachelor friends about that?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think the classic, like, I don't know if you experienced a similar thing, but I felt like the classic, like, dynamic that I definitely experienced was like the girl being like, ugh, like, these guys suck. If only I could find a guy like you. You know, and you're like, well, I'm me.
Hello. That's so crazy I mean, like, not to be whatever, but like, it's just crazy to know, because like, you're obviously a very like charismatic, handsome, like nice person, and they always are in the end, you know, but yeah, it's why we had a million rom-coms about it, I guess, you know. But wow, Mary, I wish that I could know. How did you walk away from that experience? Like, how did that so obviously like a similar sort of pattern happened. Is there anything that you learned from it walking away, or like learned from it when it would happen again? Like, how do you break out of that cycle, do you think?
Well,
if it's a cycle is a dramatic word,
because I remember even when I like graduated, like even like throughout college, I still felt like, even though I had this other kind of intense crush, then that and then like things never started with that person. And but it was like a very similar dynamic, even more so, where we were hanging out all the time and then hanging out like with each other and doing things that were dates. Like at the end of the day, like, even though I never called it a date, like they were dates, but like in my mind, I never called it that. And I never said like, I like you. And she never said she liked me. And so by the time that I got to the point where I was able to say that, for whatever reason, she was like not into it anymore. But in my mind, I was like, this person never liked me. And then like later on, like years later, they were like, I obviously did like you. And I was like, well, it wasn't obvious.
Well, it wasn't obvious to me. This is what I'm learning more and more about men when I do this podcast is always that, especially comedian men. They don't know. They don't know. Right. They don't know. And it's funny, the thing about a date, but you don't know if it's a date. I hung out with 2 guys in 1 week that both of last week, that both of them, and they're of the arts, you know, both of them, we approached it on a like, oh, you want to see a movie this day? Yeah, I want to see a movie. Great, whatever. Boo, boo, boo. And we should hang out again soon. Yeah, let's hang out again soon. I had like coffee catch up dates with both of these guys before. And with both of these instances, the day before, I was like, is this a date? Like, I started thinking about, I'm like, this could be a date, but I don't actually know, because it was very like casual, whatever. Sure. But for both of them, and listen, I'll keep you updated on the productivity of this this tactic, because I'm very much in my like, I've been through too much trauma that has to do with like agency, autonomy, violation, personal boundaries, etc., to like not know what the fuck's going on. Right. So like, let me be clear and let me be honest. Let me at least try to practice what the fuck I'm preaching. So at some point towards the end of both of these hangouts, I did just say, I was like, so is this a date? After we would talk about dating ish, and like, what both of them pretty much said in their own words was like, well, I would like I would like it to be like, I'm cool if it's not. And like, I think you're cool and we could be friends, but like, I would like it to be like a date kind of. And it's very interesting because it's like, okay, now that's good to know. One of them was like, well, I'd love to take you out on a real date, you know? And that is like, unfortunately, I little bit do need the context a little bit.
Well, we definitely are in I mean, like, it was this way for us growing up, and it certainly is this way now.
Yeah.
Where like people like they're dating, the way that people date is so like non-committal, especially in the city, I guess.
Yeah.
But like everything is like so non-committal and so like let's just hang out, blah blah blah. So like it's interesting, like in my mind, the reason I never thought of those things that were kind of dates as dates is because I never said the words like, would you like to go on a date? Right. And in my mind, like that's how, like, just from watching movies and TV, because that's really the only experience I could ever have. Yeah. Was like, that's how it works. It's like, if you like somebody, you hang out with somebody until you realize that you're in love with them. And then when you're in love with them, you ask them out on a date. Are
we in love? Could you want to be in love with me?
Hey, I like you. Do you want to go out on a date? And then after you date a little bit, then you ask them to marry you, and then you have sex.
Well, and then you date, and then you find out if you do actually really like them.
Right, but that wasn't in.
That was never in your mind.
In my mind, it was like the like it happens from like your friends, and then you realize you love each other, and then you ask each other out.
Well, this is the common theme on the podcast. I'm always talking about friends to lovers versus, just lovers to lovers, right? Yes. And I think, but I also grew up with that, like in my mind, always, I was like, at some point he's going to realize, like, meanwhile being like the girl that you like confide to all your like with all your girl stuff problems with, but that's where it's funny, because it's like both of these guys I really do like as friends, like are like that's why I said yes to hanging out with them, because I like them. And this is why I'm saying we're figuring out how productive this is, because now I am like, okay, but you said we could be friends and that's fine. And I want to believe you. I want to believe you that we can for real be friends, and that it will be just as normal as it was before I asked you if it was a date or not. And that's the thing. That's on me. I did that, But I think I also have to, I do think it's an interesting thing to ask yourself, because I am always wanting to check if that, like, if I know that this is a date and like you are interested, does that change how I like, does it shift something? I think sometimes it does, but I think sometimes not as much as I want it to.
Well, listen, I, as somebody who,
but I've also always been in love with my friends, like a lot of the time,
So basically it went for me like,
because you're married, so you've done the work.
So the way that it went for me was huge intense crush senior year of high school, huge intense crush freshman year of college, then sophomore year of college, essentially like a girl who I like wasn't thinking about that much, like who was a part of a friend group, like all of us like made a move on me.
She was thinking about you for years.
She was thinking, I don't know about, no, not for years, but I didn't, not even for, maybe.
There are people I've thought about for years.
But she was like, she made a move on me. That was like, even though it was technically not my first kiss, it was like my first actual, like, we're making out. And then it was like, whoa.
Ooh la
and then
la.
It was like, and then
girl, you're kissing like, too close.
I'm just here to kiss. Like, that's really it.
She's not like in love, not trying to get married to you.
And so then I was like, oh, okay. So like, that's what my relationships will be. And so like from then on was just like, okay, my relationships with girls were like, I realized that was like, it clicked in it. It was starting to happen before then, but like then it really clicked. Like, oh, there are girls who are attracted to me. Mm-hmm. I can
start to see it.
I'm starting to see it a little bit more. And then when that happens, it's like, you don't have to go out. You don't have to be boyfriend and girlfriend. You could just date. Like, whatever.
Kiss.
Like kiss. And so then it was like,
isn't that so the best, one of the best things to do?
That. it was kind of just that.
Kissing. I mean, kind of ideal. Sounds great.
And then it was another intense friendship crush.
Okay, friendship crush that you weren't pursuing.
That I was pursuing by
your
being
you
their
think you
friend,
are by being really close, being like, so how was that date with that guy?
Yes, and then finally asking them out again, pressured by a thing. We went to a church service in which the pastor was talking about like how they don't really think men and women can like be friends. And then she was
You're having all these messages from the outside world.
She was like, isn't that so ridiculous? Like
we could be friends.
She was like, we're friends. And I was like, I actually like you. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And so then that didn't work out. And then it was blah, blah. And then the way that my wife Tessa came into the picture was like initially like, oh, this is a person I've been making out with. And then she was like, oh, you're like the only person I'm doing that with now. She at first was like, you're not the only person I'm doing this with.
By the way, don't get it twisted.
And I was like,
I have options.
I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. Nobody says that. You're different, you know?
Yeah.
And then she was like, you're the only person. And then I was like, oh, so should we be exclusive? She's like, I didn't say that. And I was like, okay.
I just said that you're the only one I'm exclusively kissing right now. I'm just exclusively kissing you. I'm not saying that we have to be exclusive.
And then eventually it was like, then I was like, oh, I don't think I can date you because you're not Christian. And then she was like, I don't accept that. And then I was like, okay, maybe
I love her.
Maybe we're perfect for each other.
She said, that does not apply to me. And the rest is the rest is her story. It's her story. Okay.
But yes,
But you met her in a context of you guys weren't friends before.
We weren't really friends. We didn't know
each
other. Do you
think that
I met her at a party and it was like, and I basically did ask her out and I was dating like. At that point, I was dating. I was
your
obviously going on
is more
dates,
and yeah.
But I didn't have it in my mind, and this is kind of messed up. Like in my mind, I was still at that point was like, but if you're not like super Christian, then like we're never gonna get married. We're just like dating.
Interesting.
So I never called anybody. She was my first girlfriend. I went on other dates with other girls, but I never called. Like I was never in a relationship before her.
Because it was like, this isn't serious. This is not there's the
yeah.
Christian
Like anytime
thing.
it got to the point where a person was like, "What are we?" I was like, "Oh, we're done." That's what we are.
No, it is funny. I remember anytime I used to just be like, yeah, I don't know. We hang out sometimes. We kiss sometimes. Like I always resisted the word because I'm like, what is dating? I don't know. Right. I don't know. What are all these words?
Right. But yeah, anytime I felt like people were like really catching feelings, then I was like, oh no. But then at a certain point, I realized like, oh, this is kind of messed up. And so then I tried the tactic that obviously still doesn't work of like when I first started like dating somebody being like, I'm not looking for a relationship. And they're like, cool, me neither.
Right.
Especially in your 20s, everybody's like, neither am I. And nobody's honest with themselves. And that includes men and women.
Yeah.
Men too are not honest with themselves.
Well, my thing that would make me crazy and OG fans of this podcast will remember there was a period of time that I talked about this guy so much that like he had done this to me and wronged me in this way, in the sense that it was just like guy I had a really big crush on. We finally like went on a date and we like made out. Like we didn't have sex but I like stayed over, and in my mind I was like, because we're taking it slow, because there's feelings here, because obviously this chemistry is undeniable. Right. And like we did. I mean, and we're friends now and we're cool. And we had chemistry because we're friends now. But at the time I was very much like gaga about it. And then like, but I told my friend, I said on the record, I'm going to say, I remember calling all my friends and being like, I think this is a real deal. I think it's finally happening. I think like, oh my God, I had such a good time, but blah, blah, blah. I think he really likes me. Yeah. But I did tell my one friend, I said, but for the record, I will say that when this doesn't work out, it'll be because he said he's not really dating right now. And then like, literally it is what happened, where I was like, it was like, yeah, we should see a movie. Let me follow up about this movie. Right. And then, yeah, like, let's see a movie, but I think it would just be as friends. Like, I'm not really dating right now. And listen, obviously I've moved on, but no, cause this sort of thing, like, but then don't go on. Then why are we going on a date? Then, you know, like, cause then it's like, either that's a lie and you're just not into this, which at that point, just say this, because me saying I'm not really, so you're saying you're not really dating right now, but you took me on a date. Now, why was that?
Right.
And I was down to F, as it were.
Right.
But so just say you're not about the vibe, but no one's brave like that. Right. It's scary. So then they have to just say, thank you. That was basically his equivalent. He said, thank you.
Yeah. Well, and that's true. Nobody wants to hurt. I mean, people don't want to hurt each other's feelings.
Right.
People are not honest. It's also like, honestly, rejection hurts no matter what. There's no right way to do it. One of the things that you learn about watching any dating show.
Yes. Which is your favorite?
Love Island UK.
Okay. Go on.
But we just watched Love is Blind, the latest season. That's insane.
I've heard I have to get into it. I'm blocked on Netflix. As in, I don't pay for it, and they're like, "You're not in the household," and then I'm like, "I'm not watching."
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, one of the things you learn from those shows is like, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter how you say it or what you say or whatever the machination is, people are going to be upset. When you break up with them or tell them you don't like them, they're going to be upset and they're going to tell you all the things you did wrong. Oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. And the reality is, no, boo, you just got hurt. You got your feelings hurt.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is, how it goes. It's why it sucks and why everybody dreads it and why people ghost, because they don't want to deal with it. They're afraid of conflict. Nobody wants to feel like they hurt somebody other's feelings, so they would rather do something that's completely inhumane and just completely cut off contact with them altogether.
Yeah.
But that's just how it goes. It's never, it doesn't feel good. But yeah, and then I do think people date, like, there are people who don't necessarily want to be in a committed relationship in terms of they don't want the responsibility, the long-term responsibility that faces, but they do want the short-term benefits of it. And so that's why people enter relationships that are, that they know that they're not really going to pursue or go all the way through, but they love bomb and they want to feel that connection or whatever at the time. And then,
but that's why it's like, if we're just all cool with our intention, we could find, if we're super honest with our intention, we could find that our intentions align in the sense that, like, right now, I'm not trying to get in a relationship. I'm trying to make out, do some fucking if it's gonna be good. If the chemistry is there, but I think it's like, okay, being clear about your intentions, and then also you have to like believe that, because I have self-awareness. I understand that I don't seem chill, but I am very chill. Like, I am actually with these things right now, as if I know what the fuck's up, like I'm chill, you know? So just like take me as that, but then also you be chill as well. I will say on rejection, I did ask someone out very bravely, not that long ago. And he did, like, after a week of like being like unread on Instagram, I'm like, he was like, what, that he was actually seeing someone, like, if I can believe it. I'm like, yeah, I can believe it. I asked you out. Yeah, I've had a crush on you. But like that he was flattered, and I was like, great. And you know what? I realized that could be a lie, and it's a good, and it could, it's probably true because he's a cute boy. But I'm like, if anyone needs a way I think that's a really nice, I'm actually started seeing someone, but like, thanks so much, you know, like, because maybe you will start seeing someone or something. If there's a case for lying to make people feel good, unless that person did something fucking weird. That's what I'm trying to do now, is like, okay, but if you did do something weird, I am going to tell you that was weird, you know? Like when I classically told the guy not to take my hand and put it on his dick. It was a brave thing for me to say. Not then. I didn't say it then because it didn't occur to me then. But later.
That is a classic, though.
That's why I said it, because I'm like, why is this a classic? It is a like, that's literally what I said on the podcast. I said the classic move of guy put my hand onto his dick. And it's like, yeah, it's happened so many times before. Yeah. Anyways, intention. I'll tell you, I'll say this hand, I want to put it there or not.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because it's like the nonverbal physical communication is at least how I started physical intimacy.
Totally.
And like, and there were things, without getting into too much detail, like there was something that did not really want to do and wasn't planning on doing, and it happened to me without like consent or the check-in or verbal.
Yeah.
But it also was like when that started happening, I didn't stop it. And I didn't really register it as like, this is kind of an assault.
No, it doesn't happen at the time.
You know? and then like when all of the that conversation started happening with the Me Too movement and stuff,
yeah.
I literally was like, what are you talking about? Like, that happens to everybody. And people are like, no, it doesn't. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like, and I don't feel the same way about it that I know a lot of women do, because I still felt like there was no like fear of
the power dynamic felt a little different.
No fear of like, this person can kill me, even though I guess technically they could get a knife and kill me. But like, there wasn't a fear of like, if I physically stop this myself, then I'm in danger for my life. So it's a different thing. But I do think it still speaks to the, like, we do grow up in a society that, because talking about sex is still kind of taboo, and like,
yeah,
even though it's so in our
well, that's
culture,
the thing. It's because it's in our culture in like an inauthentic way, or in a way that's like like talking about TV and movies. It's like, how many of the sex scenes are, they get home, they rip their clothes off, and then there's this, and then it's wild and crazy. How many times has that ever happened to you in life? It's like, that's not usually how it is. But I think also when people are getting their cues of like, and I know that because this was the hand on dick scenario is a part of the story of when I quote unquote had accidental sex, which I talked about on this podcast, of like, I did feel, and my guest, my friend Ray Tintori, put it so well, either on the podcast and when we were talking about it later, like how the music was swelling for him, like in the movie of the moment. It was like, I'm gonna grab her and kiss her.
Yes.
You know? But in the reality of my moment, I was just like having a conversation, and then a guy was kissing me, you know? But of course in the moment you're not, like, it's too many things are happening.
And so the other thing about this though is that, but if those dynamics are, it's not just movies, it's not just movies because people watch them and then they expect that.
Yeah.
Women expect that from men at times. Not all women and not all times, but there are, like, I think a part of these crush stories that
this was what I was wondering.
For sure, the freshman
college
story is like, if I had just grabbed her and
aggressively
kissed her, I bet we would have been, but I was so timid, so naive, so this person who was like, I needed the ultimate, I needed people to be like, this is what I want to, that's literally how it first happened to me, was like, a girl just did it to me, and she actually didn't even ask me, she was just like started touching me. And so like, it was like, I was like, and then in my mind I was like, okay, so this is how it's done, like people just start touching each other, and like I had seen that at dances and stuff, men would just come up to a woman and start grinding all them, and then they would be dancing, you know what I mean? And like, and there is an element of that culture that is real.
That is true. No, 100%.
So it's just that the only thing I want to say is like, we don't learn how to do things the right way. And so I don't think a lot of people are doing things with like malintent. It's just like, nobody's taught them like how we're supposed to behave.
Well, and that's why I now famously, because after I talked about this accidental sex, I realized, like when I broke it down on the podcast, because I felt it was a benefit and a relatable experience, I realized, well, he should know. So I actually did talk to him about it and was like, so here are the moments that I feel like we were in miscommunication, because it was all like nonverbal. I'm not saying something, he's maybe assuming a little bit something. I'm giving off energy, and I'm more and more trying to be aware of this. Like, I've always been aware of the sense that, like, a lot of the times that people think I'm flirting, I am really just actually being myself. And then when I am actually flirting, like, no, when I'm really trying, you know, no, it's not being picked up on. So I'm like, I'm aware.
Do you think that there is a difference between when you flirt and when you don't?
I think that my flirting is more so kind of me just cranked up, like more. If I can be honest, I think it's like my flirting is me just doing me, like at you, a little bit more.
But how would they know that it's more?
No, I know. I get it. And I get that if you've just met me and then you feel me at this level and then, I get like, but that's why I'm trying to just be like, is this a date? Like, is this a date? Because like me and my friend that we're vibing with and I'm like, yeah, I want to kick it. We're like, I'm now trying. Well, and the truth of the matter is that, like, only one way to say it. I've only now in the last couple of years started to like, I know how this sounds, like actually understand like, okay, I guess I'm attractive. You know what I mean? Like I had a lot of like self-hate and stuff for forever. And it is funny living in LA now because there's a lot of friendships that I made sort of like online and stuff like many, many years ago, but we haven't lived in the same city. And now I live in the same city. And now I'm realizing, I'm like, wait a minute. A lot of them are men. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Did a lot of them start being friends with me because maybe they're like, this was, but I was so naive and like, sure. I was not thinking of myself as hot or X, Y, Z. Like you'd have to really convince me that. And now I'm starting to understand more that like, I guess I'm like not fugly, right? So like now that's starting to inform my relationships a little bit more. It's just
starting to happen now?
A little bit, kind of.
Can I ask how old you are?
I turned 30 in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So you didn't feel that when you went to New York?
When I lived in New York?
Yeah.
Not in an embodied way. If I did, I would not have ended up in a abusive relationship.
This was like a childhood.
Yes.
Which I completely relate to.
Well, and that's why it seems, the pattern of like my best friend is and frankly, I'm like Cuban in Miami, like race is identity. It's all cuckoo there. It's like not a great place to have any understanding in the sense that it's like all mixed up in a way that makes you think that like it's not racist, but then you're like, you like go and you live anywhere and then you're like, oh wait, no, that's
sure.
Like there is a lot of like fucked up.
Yeah.
I've talked about it before. Like Latin people think they're black people think they're whatever. White people think they're Latin, like it's all cuckoo. But I did understand that like, my friends that were like definitely white presenting or like this girl I'm thinking of is like Argentinian, which is like, okay, she white, she blonde,
Yeah.
Great. That's fine. A lot of them were, and that was always a dynamic, like one way or another and then that sort of made me in like obviously a way different extent, like than other people, than like black people, I'm sure, like in the same environment as me, like I think it created a little like internalized racism thing of like, well then, but why do I work when I'm a white girl? Like, and then in my mind, I was like, well, if I was just a white girl, if I just looked like my friends, like then they would be, because they all like me, but they only want to date my friend that looks like that. So that I think was like, and, varying on how much I was aware of that or not, So that took like a while to shed, obviously. And then it's also just like, I was a dancer. That didn't help, like body image stuff. It's just, rough. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just, when you hate yourself, you hate yourself. Yeah. And I did have to go through simply hell. I went through hell the last few years to come out on the other side and be like, wow, I'm very sturdy and I look nice with a tan. Which is nice. It's great. I'm like excited for this part of my life with this new understanding that perhaps I'm an attractive girl. Mm-hmm. But that's what sucks is I'm like out here being brave, asking boys on dates. They're seeing someone, I'm seeing someone, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
I'm out here in LA and I can't tell who's hot. Okay. These guys are all wearing their big pants and they got their mustaches. They got their mustaches, their hats, their little 15 tattoos and their big pants. Mm-hmm. And I hate that they're tricking me sometimes. And I'm like, is that? And then I'm like, no, it's like literally just a fucking piece of cardboard.
It's just dressed up.
It's just dressed up in big trousers.
But so the style you are attracted to.
No, I don't think I am though. That's the thing. I think it's like a psyop. Like it's like it's propaganda.
Everybody's doing
I moved here and they're all that.
Yeah,
and I know that some of them are hot, so I'm like I have to look. You know,
I feel this way about the new like girls wearing like white, like these black shoes with the white socks with the little frills.
Oh, like girly, like yeah, like.
What is it called? Something?
No, what's it called? I don't know. But like girly, like little children's types of socks. But
it's explicitly white.
White, yeah.
And
no,
like
that's a
so
thing.
many people are doing that now. And I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, this looks ridiculous. And now I'm like, it's kind of cute. And I'm
no, you like it now?
What's going on?
Oh no.
I see. That's the thing. It's just like
representation matters.
You just see it when you see something so much. You're just like, I guess this is what I'm supposed to like.
Exactly. No, and I don't want to be subject to it. I don't want to mind control. I don't like this. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens next. I mean, and I think people just need security and they need to feel a part of something, and that's fine. Anyways, I don't know how we got on my sexual tensions with my friends.
We were going to
of course, at some point.
Ultimately, that's what this podcast is about.
No, but it is true because I brought it up because of the nonverbal thing, because it's like, yes, when we know that chemistry is real for real,
it's not always bad necessarily. It's not necessarily
frankly
bad.
If he just grabbed me, kissed me in the bar, I'd say yes, because I already knew I want that. But I was thinking the whole time about your story, if it was like, did they want you to be like more aggressively sexual? Yeah. You know?
And I'm sure they did.
But then we got to ask for it at the very least.
It's hard.
Maybe a little bit.
Sometimes people are like, and I mean, I think it's messed up. And my wife would say it's something deeply psychotically wrong with people. Mm-hmm. But like sometimes people are like, oh, when they ask, it's like unattractive.
I know. And I'm trying to dispel this myth. Like I did, because I did have, now I'm just realizing that I'm over here acting like, oh, I can't get laid. And now I'm going to tell another story of someone asking me to make out. But no, a friend was like, we were vibing and was like, should we make out? And then I think the most that I wanted to make out with him was the moment that he did ask me, because I thought it was hot to just, because I do think like people don't know what they don't know. Right. You know what I mean? Because most people haven't just been straight up asked this or and like that can be like sexy too. Like the deciding to like bring the element of control into it of like, do you want this? Like that's what I want. I wish people would understand. Like it's actually so hot to know that someone wants something for sure. And now I'm asking, and now you're going to give it to me.
Yeah.
And this is a nice sexual transaction.
There is probably a happy medium too, because like I'm also thinking of like you could like instead of saying like do you want to do you want me, do you want to make out, or can I kiss you? You could just definitively say I want to kiss you.
Thoughts? Question mark.
I want to kiss you, and the person would respond to that.
Right.
I
think we just need to be fielding options. We need to just be putting it out there. People need to know that there are options at the very least beyond what they see in movies and TV. Because there are options. We can ask. Oh my God, I've learned a lot.
We went down deep.
Thank you for sharing your experiences. Do you feel completely enlightened in love and life now? You know it all. You know everything.
I definitely feel completely loved.
Yeah. What's it like to be married? Scale of 1 to 10.
10.
Yay!
I do. I mean, like, I think the thing, like, marriage is definitely like. It's a commitment. Honestly, it's just the best word for it, because I think, like to me, emotions come and go. Like there's going to be times where you're upset with each other. There's going to be times where you're like, ugh, like I don't want to. There's going to be times like I need you, and nobody else, and like the commitment is just like no, like when you're committed to something, you do it through the ups and downs. When people are committed to their career,
right,
or a pursuit of their dreams, like there are many days where they feel down and they're like feel like giving up because Like,
yeah,
there's something bad that happens, but you don't give up. You keep going because you want it, you know.
Do you want it bad enough, Marty Supreme? Are you Marty Supreme about it?
Yeah,
I'm trying to get Marty Supreme mode about love. That's very
so,
intense.
Yeah, so I think that's what it is. It's like not just about, and I think people do know this, but I think sometimes the way that our culture frames it is hard. Like it's not just like this, like, oh, like this person will always make me feel good at all times,
right?
Or this person's gonna be my everything. Like there's nothing that I need. Like I do think that like you complete me is like a little
wrong.
bit
It's
wrong
bad. I think it's
mindset.
If we go back in time enough, we probably can find all the ways that it's like rooted in patriarchy and white supremacy, like most things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit of a cage.
yeah. But I do think that like I want to be this. I want to live life with you.
Yes.
I want to, you know,
frankly, more romantic.
Yeah.
I want to just do shit
more,
with you.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's more, to me, it's more romantic. It's more romantic for somebody to continually choose you every day than for someone to just be like, I can't live, I'm infatuated with you, and I can't live my life without you because I'm obsessed. And it's like, okay.
Because then you're admitting I'm coming to this as like half a person when really I want a whole person.
Yeah.
And I think when you do start, and it's all looped in with like the self-hate and the boundaries and the nonverbal in some way of like, yeah, when you show up as half a person, you have like half the understanding, you know, like, so if we can try to get full on our own before approaching relationship, or at the very least be willing to become grown and full together, like parallel, like that's the vibes.com.
And then have merge. And then there's some merging that's happened. So it's not just like this person's an accessory to my life. You know, it's like, no, I want to share my life with this person.
I remember the times that were good in my bad relationship relationship looking back, complicated, bad in a lot of ways, but obviously there's nuances, things, there's whatever. And I do remember like some of like the biggest thrill of like being in relationship with someone for me was like, damn, going to a grocery store. Like I love to just go to the grocery store, like with my boyfriend who like I love like at the time or what, you know, and like just something about like, look at him picking out that lettuce. Like I just love to be around you no matter what the thing is. And I can do the groceries by myself. I'm very good at it, you know, but something about just looking at the cheese, you know, now that's amore. Right. What's your favorite activity to do with your wife?
Honestly, well, I guess there's two that popped into my head at the same time.
Besides doing it.
The two that popped into my head were us taking our dogs on a walk.
Lovely.
And then cuddling up to the couch and watching TV.
I love it. I do want it soon. I have my producer cat for these days. Sometimes you do just need a cat. And I will implore you to sometimes, if you're feeling desperate about love, think about maybe you need a cat first, maybe, and then or a dog. But yeah, sounds great. I'll get married one day probably.
Do you want to get married?
Like, I am the child of 3 divorces, so that's an element, you know. It sort of depends on the scenario. I don't know. I see myself with probably child. My perspective on marriage, though, because of child of 3 divorces, is like that I think of divorce as very like whatever. So I'm like, if I get married and then I get divorced, like that's just part of life. If you just get divorced, but I guess not everybody just gets divorced, you know?
Right.
So
it doesn't feel as big of a thing. Like the divorce, like getting divorced doesn't.
Yeah.
So does that mean the marriage part doesn't feel as like intense or scary?
It feels like the way, I guess just because of the way that I viewed it growing up, it felt like maybe you get married to this person for a time and then you get married to another person for a time. Like I think in my mind, I delineated it as like, this was just a chapter of your life of this person, which maybe it will be, but I mean, it is interesting now. Like I do know quite a few like poly people, open people, of course, LA. But even before that in 2020, I was in this big protest, like abolitionist movement thing in New York. And a lot of which, I mean, you can fully roll your eyes at a lot of it, but some of it, like this aspect, I think it is a little bit easier to roll your eyes at than to like take head on, where I did know people who were like truly relationship anarchists, like in a real way of like, we do not believe in property in any way, and these are all of the ways that manifests, and this is how it manifests in my relationships. And like, it was the sort of thing that when I was learning about it from them who were practicing it at the time, I was like, well, yeah, works for you because you're all sexy as hell. You're all real sexy and empowered and being very sexy with each other. And I don't care if you fuck her, I'll fuck her, and then I'll fuck that guy, and then we can all fuck, you know? So I think like part of my view of that was like, but that could never be me.
Right.
It would be cool to like be at that point in my life of like, you know, I obviously don't actually think of anyone as property, but if you try to really break it down in your relationships as far as like jealousy or whatever, and like, my boyfriend or not, like it would be cool to get there. Don't know if I will, you know? But I am aware of like, I don't know. There are a lot of beautiful people in the world. Like, who knows what that will, who knows what will be the relationship norm in like fucking 10 years or whatever. And do I care? Ultimately, it's going to be whatever works for me. But, but right now, no one's blowing my mind. No one's making me say I need to marry that person stat, you know? Yeah. So start being more impressive, guys. Start getting a little bit cooler, cuter, more intelligent, more... This is unfortunate, is like, I really do try, like, I do believe in stuff I believe in. And that's one thing out here. I'm like, people can be hot, but do you get it? You know, do you get it in general, all of it? Politically. Yeah. Like, you know, everything. It's just, unfortunately, we can't Pharrell this one. You saw that? No, what? Pharrell on that. I don't do politics. I don't like politics. Sure. Meanwhile, I'm at fucking IDF concerts. Anyways, by the way, people are still dying in Palestine. They are killing them in Palestine. There's been no ceasefire, and it's crazy. It's crazy that, you know, you can tell the volume's down, and we gotta turn it the fuck back up. And I said it on one Instagram story, so I might as well say it on my podcast because I do think it's true. We could strike. We could all strike. We could WGI strike. We could DGI strike. We could IATSE strike. I think that people on a conceptual level are understanding that like labor and stuff, like we can use this as collective power, but like Hollywood isn't. Hollywood, get into it. Let's call Rob Lowe. Do you think he knows? Thoughts? Do you think Rob will support the cause of us? No, I don't know about Rob's politics. Rob would support the floor would not be the floor would be impacted by is IATSE reality? The floor? Would the floor be able to stay if we striked for Palestine? That's the question. That's a good question. I don't know. He might be unaffected, but maybe he needs to get affected. Let's get Rob in here. Would the strike be? We can just do it. It would just strike. We could just strike, like everyone strike, like the dock workers strike, because like to pretend that we're not connected to it, like we know we are. You know, not you and me. It's not our fault, but you know, right? Paramount, CBS, like all of it. Like we are making them continue to be viable and existing right now. And I know we've had a lot of stoppage. And it's easier for me to say as someone whose dreams have not come true yet, as someone who does not have an HBO show or whatever, as someone who's not getting a paycheck from these literally companies. As someone who does not, but that's why I can say with much wiseness that we can hang, guys. We can be fine with no income. Anyways, Jonathan, I will let you go. Do you have any crush songs to leave us with? Any songs that reminds you of crush those crush times? I have a horrible one. Tell me. What is it? You ready for it? Yeah. You're beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Now this is such an interesting pick. Why would set the scene for me for you? Keep singing the lyrics. What's at the end of it? At the end of the chorus. You come and I don't know why. Wait, because I don't know what to do. I will never be with you. Yeah. Let's just get a little piece of that. Oh God. This was really something. Woo!
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
It's true. There must be an
Angel with a smile on her face. Oh wait, when she thought up that I should be with you. Crazy. That is a crazy part of that
It's
song.
time to face the truth.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, let's just.
But it's time to face the
This is you walking home.
Yep. Literally.
I will never be with you.
I start crying. Thank you so much for doing the show.
You're
This has been
welcome.
so wonderful. What would you love to plug today
Oh,
on my
goodness.
very famous podcast?
Black Man Can't Jump in Hollywood is the
Exactly.
podcast. Sure. Watch The Floor. If you've never seen Astronomy Club, check that out. It's on Netflix.
All of the funny laughs, and I'll get Netflix back just for Astronomy Club. Only if they bring back Astronomy Club. You heard me here
they're
first,
never gonna
Ted
do it.
Sarandos. Bye.
Right?